My name's Torvir, and I'm here presenting my Dragonic Overlord the Legend deck. This is not a deck that includes Overlord the Cross or Overlord the End. This is based around Overlord the Legend. For my starter, I like to use Dragon Knight setting. It's really good for whenever you retire one of your opponent's rear guards on their turn. You can just pop him in the soul, and he retires another unit of your opponent's choice. It really screws over people who are trying to keep a field for next turn, or it also works for units that haven't attacked yet. So yeah, he's just really good overall. I also run Lizard Soldier Conroe. He's not currently legal right now, but at the start of next month, you can use him as your starting Vanguard. Before either match, if you know what you're going against, you're allowed to choose either to start with, and it's actually really good for grabbing Perfect Guards or Stride Fodder or Conroe. So yeah, it's really good. For my crit lineup, I run 8 crit. You can also use 12 crit if you like. For multiple attacks, your opponent won't expect it. Make sure that 4 of them are Dragon Knight Janets. You just slide them into Soul when you have Dragonic Blademaster Titan as your Vanguard. You still get the name, you get the 5,000 power, and you get the draw. So, and you also get to build up your Soul. So, it's just a really good combo overall. And crits just to deal more damage. I then run 4 draws. I just felt like using Steel Dragon Art Peak. You can use whatever you want. Make sure that Gatling Claw takes up the majority of yours, or even run a 4th Gatling Claw. Take out their starter. A lot of decks rely on their starter. Then obvious is obvious. 4 heals. Try to get Flame Dragon heals so you can grab them with Overlord the Legend with his skill. I just felt like tossing this deck together, so yeah, 4 Flame Dragon heals. For grade runs, I run 4 Protect Orb Dragons for Perfect Guards to countercharge. You obviously use a lot of counterblasts in this deck, and Conroe can't keep it up. Sometimes you don't have it in your hand, or whatever goes, or you just want to keep a 7k rear guard. Yeah, Protect Orbs are good, and I don't really have an issue with people attacking my rear guards. If they do, I just let them go. So, good Perfect Guards. And then you have to run 3 or 4 Conroes. This card is very important for keeping your counterblasts open. Every time, if you sacrifice them, every time your Dragonic Overlord attacks, he countercharges 2. There have been times where I countercharged 6 times at one point, so really important. And his second effect, which is also equally important, you can show a grade 3 in your hands, which is most likely going to be an Overlord, and search through your deck and add any Overlord you want, Legion, Break Ride, Legend, whatever you want. Put that in your hand, and you discard a card. You can discard a Perfect Guard, so you can countercharge. You can discard a grade 3 Overlord, so you can use Burnout's effect or Defeat Flare. So yeah, really important card. Do not play the deck without this. Next, I run 3 Lava Flow Dragons. A 4th one would be good too. This is just basically your basic Stride Fodder. Sometimes you just need Overlords in your drop zone more than you need Stride Fodder. So, yeah, important. And last but not least, I run 2 Dragon Knight Naddles. This card's good for when you stride Dragonic Blademaster, because you get a free countercharge when you have more rear guards than your opponent. And he's just a 11k booster. You can put him behind the Vanguard for a very large attack that requires a lot of shield. You can put him behind Dragon Knight Nehala for a very large rear guard attack. So, and he could actually be a front row rear guard to attack on his own as he hits 11k. So, good grade 1. On to grade 2s. Also very important, I run 4 Emperor Dragon Knight Nahalas. This card is basically your huge powerhouse rearguard card. It's really difficult to power up your rearguards without triggers. And your Vanguards don't really give power to anybody else because the Vanguard's more focused on restanding. So this is your bread and butter of attacks for the deck. He gains 5,000 power each time your Vanguard attacks when he's grade 4 or higher, as long as it has Overlord in its name. So if you attack twice with the Legend or the Ace, this card gets free 10,000 power. 2 front row rear guards will blow your opponent away. It's very strong. Put your triggers on top of it, it's an unbeatable column. Next, I run 3 Dragonic Burnouts. This card is just good for a retire. I mean, it's basically free for a single Soul Blast, and you retire an opponent's unit, and you get to put Overlords into the bottom of your deck and make them searchable over and over again. This card's really good for when you're about to deck out. You could put Overlord the Great on the bottom of your deck, and I'll put something under that, and when you draw the Great, you can just Legion back, and you'll have a 4-card deck, put in a bunch of triggers and stuff. So, yeah, really good. And it's just a retire. You can also have a combo with Dragonic Neoflame, which I'll show next, for 2 retires for the cost of 1 Counterblast. So yeah, really good card. Anyway, so Dragonic Neoflame, very important card for running the Greats. This is his Legion mate, and it's actually really good. He's good for sniping units in the back row. You can just attack the rear guard that he's in the same column with, and if the unit's retired, you counterblast 1. It retires the unit in the back row. So get rid of those pesky boosters or the units with really good abilities. And like I said, it goes great with Dragonic Burnout. You retire the unit in the front, and it retires the back. So yeah, 1 column for 1 counterblast. Last, I just put in some 12Ks, Burning Horn Dragon. It's really good. It combos with Nattle, so it puts it over 21K, so it just combos really well. And last, for the grade 3s, I run 3 Dragonic Overlord the Legends. This card is the guy you want to be on. This is your best card in the whole deck. So you counterblast 1 and you discard a grade 3 Flame Dragon from your hand. He actually becomes a Stride. He gains 15,000 power, and he gets an extra drive check. And he's just a really good unit. He combos well with Nehalem because his ability allows him to attack the rear guard first, and then whether it hits or not, you don't have to worry about it hitting. He restands, and you get the attack again. So that's 2 attacks. Nehalem gets plus 10,000 power, and you get 6 drive checks, and you get to filter your hand. So discard the bad cards in your hand, and keep the good ones. So good unit, but his on-ride skill is almost just as good. For the cost of 1 counterblast and soul blasting, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and you add a Flame Dragon to your hand. You can add any of your grade 3s. You can add Dragonic Burnout, Neoflame. You can add to the Stride Fodder. You can add Protect Orb Dragon. Whatever is a Flame Dragon, you can add to your hand for that. It's really good. That's why you want to run Flame Dragon heal triggers, so you can be able to G-guard. So yeah, really important card. Very good card. Next, I run 2 Dragonic Overlord Break Rides. It's just fun to have. It's really good once you break ride the Legend over it. A plus 10,000 power. No one ever complains about that. And it's just a really good unit overall. When you break ride, his ability is you can attack a rear guard and counterblast 1 and discard 1, you restand your Vanguard. So, important note with this, if you break ride that with this card, if you attack a rear guard before, you cannot use the second one of the abilities of the other one. So, if you attack a rear guard, you can't just attack a rear guard again and then attack the Vanguard. You need to attack the rear guard and then go straight for the Vanguard. This combo is actually really good because once you break ride this on top of that, he has 36,000 power, and when you attack a rear guard, you can restand at the cost of a counterblast and dropping 1 card from hand instead of dropping 3 cards from your hand. So that's plus 2 cards in your hand. It's like a draw 2. So really good combo here. Next, I run 1 Dragonic Overlord the Rebirth. This card you don't really want to use. You want to avoid using it, and you want to avoid riding it at all, pretty much, except during endgame. I mainly just run him for the cross ride because you need to have a unit with Dragonic Overlord in its name. So this is Dragonic Overlord. This is a cross ride basically. If you can actually break ride Rebirth on top of the break ride, it would be really good, as you get 3 attacks, 1 for the rear guard and then 2 for the Vanguard, whether any of them hit or not. And that's a really strong attack. So this is a decent unit to try and defeat your opponent with, but he's more for defense. So for the plus 2,000, he becomes 13,000. So yeah, decent combo with that. And last, I run 2 Perdition Emperor Dragon Dragonic Overlord the Greats. This is a really good card for, you want to build your deck back up. You're low on cards, you and your opponent are neck to neck, and you're low on cards. Just make sure you put this on top when you use cards like Dragonic Burnout or the G Guardian Defeat Flare Dragon. And once you draw him, you can re-ride him and legion more cards back into your deck. It's just a really good card. He also has a good skill to attack a rear guard, restand, and attack the Vanguard. It's a pretty good skill. Filter cards in your hand and to get rid of those pesky grade 2 rear guards that it can intercept. And if he hits, you can retire a unit if you retire a copy of this guy or a copy of Dragonic Neoflame. Because so just get your use out of this guy, and then you can retire a grand total of 4 units just with the attack Neoflame skill, and then retire 1 more with retiring Neoflame off a rearguard circle. So yeah, good combo, good cards. Next is the G Zone. Starting out with, I run 2 Supreme Heavenly Emperor Dragon Dragonic Overlords the Aces. You can actually run 4 of these. It won't really hurt the deck much. It's just that whenever you attack, you need to have a unit with Overlord in its name so that you may discard it as part of the cost. Since you only run 8, you want to make sure you have a Conroe enhanced to search them out, but 2 Vanguard attacks is nothing to sneeze at. Plus, he gets a 5,000 power during his second attack, so really powerful unit. He boosts Nehalem too, so that's plus 10,000 power. Good unit to have. Next is arguably one of the most scariest units in the game. Transcendence Dragon, Nouvelle Vague L'Express. This is a really scary card. When your opponent has 5 damage, once the 6 damage is received, even if it's a heal trigger, it does not count. You win the game, no matter what. At the cost of a counterblast, you get this effect. And then, it manipulates guard. Your opponent cannot use grade 1s to guard with, so no perfect guards. You have a nice booster in the back. They better hope they had a G guard. So yeah, really good unit to finish your opponent off with. For the next strides, we have 4 Supreme Heavenly Emperor Dragon Dragonic Blade Master Titan. This is a very powerful unit. It combines well with the grade 1 Nattle, and it's a 11k booster. So you boost it with this unit, and it's a 37k powerhouse, and it gets a crit when you have more rear guards than your opponent, plus a counter charge. Why not? So yeah, really good card. Make sure when you use your first stride, you flip one of them face up so you can retire 2 right off the bat. because for one counterblast, he can retire up to 3 units on the field. And like I said, the crit is not too shabby either. So yeah, scary unit. And last stride I run is Supreme Heavenly Emperor Dragon Vortex Desire. This card is just to get you started. You can flip over a Titan immediately to retire 2 rear guards. This card gets to retire for every Flame Dragon heart. So if you're in Legion and you hit, you can retire 3 cards. So yeah, just a really start unit. You want to use this even if they have no rear guards to activate the Generation Break 2, so you can use Dragonic Overlord the Legend immediately. Next, for Generation Guards, I have Supreme Heavenly Emperor Dragon Defeat Flare Dragon. Really good card for knocking the wind out of somebody. What it does, you counterblast 1 and you take 2 Overlord units, basically grade 3 Flame Dragons, and put them on the bottom of the deck. When your Overlord Vanguard is attacked, throw this guy out there. Wipes out their back row. No boosters. The attacking unit loses its booster, and it's just really rough on them overall. Really good card for defense. You got to know when to play it though. Make sure you count the Overlords in your drop zone. Next, I play 2 Flamewing Steel Beast Nile Griffin. This card is really good for wiping rear guards, no matter how powerful it is. Counterblast 1, retire it. Watch out for resist units. They don't retire them. So use something else when you're guarding from those. I also run Metal Element Screw You. So Generation Break, you can choose a unit and discard it. If you have at least 1 face-up card in your G-Zone, it gets a 10k shield. Discard a grade 3 from your hand, an Overlord. It gets a 10k shield, 36k guard. And you just discard a 5k, whatever. Good guarding unit. And then last, I run Dark Element Dismal. Just protect that Nehalem. Nehalem is really important to your unit. So, yeah, good card for guarding against units that retire. So yeah, that's Dragonic Overlord the Legend. I hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you very much.